sugar-sweetened beverages out of SNAP, kids get healthier. 15 years ago, and I forgot about it because no one did anything about it. This administration, for the first time, under the leadership...
Live from Michigan Avenue, this is Good Day Chicago.
Good morning and welcome to Good Day Chicago. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following this morning. An investigation is underway after 2 people were shot during an incident in Oregon involving Border Patrol agents. The family of a missing Chicago Public Schools teacher provides new information in regards to her disappearance. And plenty of streets around the Chicago area were flooded from Thursday's storms. This is video from the Dan Ryan Expressway last night as we check in with Mike Kaplan. In addition to the rain, we also got some strong winds out there.
That we do. The waters are beginning to recede, but we still have very, very high winds. Take a look at the current gusts. Aurora's airport with a 47-mile-an-hour wind. Midway close behind with 43. Pretty much area-wide, we're looking at 25 to 35-mile-per-hour winds. That's going to last for a while. Temperatures, though, they are on the way down. We actually have a record high today of 60 degrees. That happened. It's already dropped to 54, and the farther west you go, the chillier it gets, but we're still looking at 60 degrees in Valparaiso. Small chance of a light shower coming in here later this morning, but locally what we still have is this flood advisory for the rain last night, and this covers a big portion of Cook County until 8:30 this morning. Right?
Well, tensions rise in Portland, Oregon, after officials say that 2 people were shot during an incident with federal immigration agents. The Department of Homeland Security says Customs and Border Protection agents were trying to stop a vehicle with people inside that had alleged ties to a Venezuelan gang. DHS says that the driver of that vehicle tried to run over law enforcement, eventually leading to an agent firing a weapon in self-defense. The car did escape from the scene. Portland police confirmed that they received reports of a man needing medical help. When officers arrived, they found a man and woman with gunshot wounds. This all comes after an ICE agent shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good in Minneapolis, who DHS claims tried to ram him with her car. And as outrage builds nationwide over the incidents in both Minneapolis and Portland, Chicago leaders and residents are voicing some of their concerns. In Pilsen, dozens of people and elected officials gathered for a hearing with the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability. There's concerns the Chicago Police Department's practices may conflict with the city's welcoming city ordinance. People were calling out the department for what they say has been a pattern of them assisting ICE agents in failing to protect Chicago residents. Under the ordinance, police are prohibited from helping federal agents with immigration enforcement. Some residents had a message for the commission.
I thought that I was going to tell you about my experiences behind the discount mall on October 23rd and how I personally witnessed ICE and CBD collaborate. But I'm going to throw that away because some of you commissioners should be ashamed of yourselves. You, as a public servant, can't handle a cuss word or can't handle someone going slightly over time, then get the out of your seat. So, please remove her. We're not doing that. Please remove her. Thank you.
Community members are demanding an independent investigation into CPD's involvement with ICE. Congresswoman Robin Kelly continues her criticism of Kristi Noem as she learns more details about the death of the woman in Minneapolis. She appeared on Chicago Live on Thursday, where she called into question the tactics of immigration officers involved in Renee Good's death. She's also placing the blame squarely at the feet of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem.
She should not be the Secretary of Homeland Security. She is not obviously competent. She's a liar, and people are dying, and she's throwing gasoline on cities and then lighting the fire. And it seems like she is getting her kick out of it, that she feels very, powerful and empowered. But she has to remember she works for the people.
Kelly says she is working on getting co-sponsors and that articles of impeachment against Kristi Noem will be filed as early as today. You can watch that full interview on Fox Local and catch more stories just like that one weekday afternoons on Chicago Live, streaming from 1 until 4. A new surveillance video shows Chicago Public Schools teacher Linda Brown leaving her car and walking away before she disappeared. That is according to her family. She's been missing since Saturday afternoon. Her husband says that her car, which looks just like this one on your screen, a blue Honda Civic, was found on Wednesday. But police are not saying where it was found. Her family tells Fox Chicago that she was seen in a surveillance video walking alone over a bridge to the lakefront around 3 a.m. Saturday morning. Her family says that they plan to start a search party along the lakefront later this morning. Well, the University of Illinois system president announces his retirement. Tim Killeen is set to retire when his contract ends next summer. He has held his position since 2015 and is one of the system's longest-serving presidents. He calls the job the greatest honor of his professional life. U of I's board will start searching for his replacement in the coming weeks. Well, the Chicago Bulls had to postpone their game last night against the Miami Heat. The weather outside caused some humid and wet conditions inside the UC. You can see crew members there trying to mop up the floor. The NBA says that the new date for the game will be announced at a later date. Well, tomorrow will mark the latest and one of the biggest chapters in the NFL's oldest rivalry. Talking about Bears and Packers. Mike, we should have a good one.
I sure hope so. It would be awful if they get blown out. We would be so
don't even put that into the
No.
Yeah.
All right, they have such a rich history, but this is only their third ever playoff meeting, and it comes after two instant classics between these teams in the span of just 3 weeks during the regular season. Well, this is what head coach Ben Johnson and some of the Bears players have to say about being prepared for the postseason.
It's about those little things, the details. Every blade of grass matters. Every inch matters. Finish matters.
Said, if you're not prepared to play the next 5 weeks, if you're thinking about anything else, thinking about booking a flight, vacations or anything, don't come in. So he made it very clear about what's at stake and what this team is looking for.
Just to let the young players who haven't been here before, it's really just to understand that we're all in with everything we're doing, the here and the now.
No winning season since high school is crazy, but to be in this locker room, like I said, with all the guys, especially my rookies, they make it make the game young again and go out there and just have fun with them.
All right. No better place to watch than right here on Fox Chicago. That game starts at 7 o'clock. Our coverage, though, begins with Bears Game Day live at 12:30. You want to stay with us really all day long because we've got the early game on. And then after the game, we've got full post-game coverage on your home of the Bears. Oh, it was a great one last night. The Fiesta Bowl, the Miami Hurricanes taking down Ole Miss, the Rebels in the Fiesta Bowl. So Miami earns a trip to the CFP final. Let's go to the fourth quarter. Miami is down by 2. Carson Beck swings it out to Malaki Tony. I think it's Malachi. It's Malachi. Yeah, we got a miss in there. Who takes it 36 yards for the touchdown. Miami up 24-19. But then it's Trinidad Chambliss. He finds Daquan Wright for that 24-yard score. The Rebels take the lead with just 24 seconds left in the game. But watch this here. Beck is going to keep the ball. Is he going to throw? Is he going to throw? No. Wait, he's got to scramble. There's a way. He is in untouched, and the Hurricanes hold on to win 31-27 and advance to the CFP final, where they will be playing in their home stadium. Now, to men's college basketball, the Fighting Illini take care of business against Rutgers. In the second half, the Illini are up big. Keaton Wagler hits the tough shot high off the glass and the foul. Also in the second, Kylan Boswell lobs to Zvolodymyr Ivicic, who throws down the alley-oop. And the Illini win over Rutgers big by 26, 81-55. Northwestern took on Sparty. Look who it is. It's former Northwestern head football coach Pat Fitzgerald. Remember, he is now the coach for the Spartan team. Second half, Wildcats down by 3. Jaden Reed misses. Spartans out on the run. Cohen Carr with the windmill flush. Northwestern outscored by 17 in the second half and lose by 10, 76-66. All right, to hockey. Bittersweet here. A historic night for former Blackhawk Patrick Kane. First, that's goal number 499 in the first period of the Canucks-Red Wings game. And then late in the third, Wings are leading. Watch this. Nobody in net. And there it is, Patrick Kane's 500th career goal. He's only the 50th player in NHL history to get that mark and the 5th American-born player to reach that milestone. Would have liked to see him in the Indian head sweater, but that's okay. Good for Patrick Kane. He did score 446 of his goals with the Blackhawks. Taking a look at today's sports schedule, the Blackhawks host the Capitals. That'll be a 7 p.m. puck drop. And it's #1 ranked Indiana taking on the #5 Oregon Ducks in Atlanta in the Peach Bowl. And the winner's going to get the U in the college football final. Kickoff set for 6:30. All right, now on to weather. As we reported earlier, all that rain last night and the condensation, they had to cancel the Bulls game there on that hardwood floor. Skies have clouded up again, as you see there in that live shot, and it's not impossible that we get a little bit more rain in here later this morning. It would be a light shower. I think the main character of the day, though, is going to be that wind. It'll be with us all day long. Windy, possible shower at 9, temperature right around 42. Windy but brighter at noon, 44 degrees. Still windy at 4 o'clock, 42. These temperatures not as warm as yesterday, but they're still 10 to 15 degrees warmer than normal behind a cold front in January. Look at these current numbers. Still 59 at Gary, 60 at Valparaiso. You get the idea. The front right about there. It's dropped to 54 at O'Hare, 44 at Woodstock, and to LaSalle, Peru. It's in the low 40s. Now, compared with yesterday at 4 a.m., 22 degrees warmer at Valparaiso, 12 degrees warmer at O'Hare, but this differential is going to be dropping. Winds still gusting in a few spots to more than 40 miles per hour. Aurora, Midway in that club right now, and a lot of spots are close to that. The heavy rain and embedded thunderstorms pushing off to the east, but we have another little piece of energy diving in on the backside of the storm system. You see a little light rain there in eastern Iowa. In a few hours, it's possible we get a sprinkle or some drizzle out of that. It shall not be that much. Here you see it coming through very, very quickly. And then later today, I think in the afternoon, we'll get a decent amount of sunshine out there, and it should feel pretty good except for those strong winds. Sunshine, 40s, and windy. I'll take it over a big snowstorm this time of year, right?
Well, coming up on Good Day, the U.S. Supreme Court could be making an important ruling on U.S. tariffs. We'll share the details right after the break.
The Chicago Wolves take
Here's a look at our top stories this Friday morning. 2 people were shot in Portland, Oregon during an incident with federal immigration agents. Homeland Security claims the agents were trying to stop a vehicle that had people with alleged ties to a Venezuelan gang. Eventually, an agent opened fire. When Portland police officers arrived, they found a man and a woman with gunshot wounds. Plenty of drivers had to deal with some flooding last night. This is at Cicero Avenue and 31st Street in Cicero. Several cars were stuck in high water and needed to be pushed out or even towed. Different streets across the Chicago area and suburbs also had flooded streets last night. Speaking of the weather, the Bulls had to postpone their game with the Miami Heat due to condensation on the court. The weather outside caused some humid and wet conditions inside the UC last night. The NBA says that a new date for the game will be announced at a later date. Well, the House passes a bill to extend Obamacare subsidies for the next 3 years. The bill also helps lower health care premiums that just spiked for millions of Americans on January 1st. The bill was forced to a vote after a group of Republicans signed on to what is called a discharge petition. It unlocks debate and bypass House Speaker Mike Johnson's objections. The bill now heads to the Senate. And the U.S. Supreme Court will start issuing rulings for the new year beginning today. Among the items on their agenda could be tariffs. Justices could reveal their ruling on whether the president has the authority to impose tariffs under an emergency law that was passed nearly 50 years ago. Legal and trade analysts say if the court rules that he doesn't have that power, the U.S. may be forced to refund more than $133.5 billion in tariffs to importers. Well, the White House is moving forward in their process to renovate the East Wing. Officials shared their official plans for the project with the National Capital Planning Commission. They say the purpose of this construction is to help establish a permanent event space on the White House grounds. An official vote to approve the plan is expected sometime this spring. Well, the start of tax season is set to begin on January 26th. That is when people can start filing their 2025 taxes. Some tax experts say that the filing process could face delays in 2026 after tens of thousands of IRS workers were laid off last year. The average tax return in 2025 was about $3,167. The acting IRS Commissioner, Scott Bessent, says it will likely increase this year because of provisions enacted in last summer's tax and spending package. That was on 446 this morning. It's feeling like spring out there, Mike, but it's coming with some different types of weather patterns. We got both the rain and flooding and even some strong winds.
Right. All of the above. The temperatures are on the way down. We're drying out gradually. The winds are going to stay up. But let's talk about some of the rainfall here, which, as we've been showing you, really created havoc in the city with high standing water. O'Hare, 1.92 inches of rain yesterday. That is a record for January 8th and the third highest rainfall or rain and melted snow total of any day in January on record. But other spots did not have as much rainfall. Aurora, half inch. West Chicago, pretty good with 0.88. Waukegan, a third of an inch. And Valparaiso, no big deal there, even less than a quarter of an inch. But this is a trend. Remember last year, where were some of the heaviest rainfall events? Right toward the city. Now, there's no real reason for that, but it certainly is indicative of something that's been going on now dating back to last summer. All right, we had our high. It was 60. That was a record for today. It's going to be windy, maybe a brief morning light rain shower, and then I think the afternoon hours will have a good amount of sun. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy and seasonably chilly, a low of 32 degrees. That's the normal high for this time of year. So let's just, keep these numbers straight here. 38 tomorrow with some snow, and there may be enough to coat the ground. This is not a big snowstorm for us. I think most of the snow's out of here by the time the Bears are playing. There could be a snow shower early on. Temperatures for the game will be in the 20s. 32 for the high Sunday, then back into the 40s here Monday and Tuesday ahead of the next storm system. This one will bring rain to the area Tuesday night, changing over to some light snow and colder temperatures Wednesday and Thursday. Back to you.
Well, coming up, plenty of Bears fans got together to see which of them was the best to resemble head coach Ben Johnson. We'll show you that competition after the break.
Lowe's knows rewards.
Bruno Mars is coming to Chicago for his first tour in almost a decade. He just announced the Romantic Tour in support of his fourth studio album of that same title. Mars will perform at Soldier Field coming up on May the 16th. He's bringing several other R&B stars to the stage, including Victoria Monet, Leon Thomas, Ray, and Anderson .Paak. Tickets go on sale on Thursday. Well, Bears fans come together to celebrate head coach Ben Johnson by participating in a look-alike contest. Our photojournalist Jacob Karb stopped by to check it out.
Bears, 1, 2, 3.
Such a fun, family-friendly event at the Wintrust Sports Complex in Bedford Park, our Coach Johnson look-alike contest. It's a free event, wonderful prizes, so much excitement surrounding our favorite football team in town. We want to do something really community-oriented, fun, family-friendly, and see who can get the most creative with their Coach Johnson look-alike for the good, better, and best prizes. Going to a game, it's really not attainable for most people these days with the prices, especially with the economy. So we wanted to see what we could do to help with that. So the winners, they could put it towards the game and create a memory that'll last a lifetime. And when you think about it, people are still dressing like Coach Ditka all these years later. So I'm thinking, all right, we're still doing that, and now we have Coach Johnson. And once Coach Johnson ripped his shirt off in the locker room in Philly on Black Friday, forget it. It was fantastic. Everyone had so much fun with that, and we were hopeful that the community would react to it. We greenlit the whole promotion 3 to 4 weeks, and here we are today.
I love that they had the good, better, best prizes for who won. We didn't see who won there.
I was going to say, well, who ended up winning that thing? I want to know now. I bet there's a picture of the dude somewhere online.
Sure.
Yeah, we
right?
can find that out.
A couple of them look pretty good. They had the headset, had the hat, even had a guy take his shirt off. So, yeah.
We wondered if somebody was going to do that. All right, we had a tremendous amount of rainfall in parts of the area. Really, as I mentioned earlier, one of the wettest days ever in Chicago history. This is a map showing rainfall estimates. One of the cool things we can do with radar these days, and this is something that when I started this business would have been a dream. Look at how much rain fell. This is Doppler estimated rainfall, and you can clearly tell that there's a southwest to northeast oriented band. That yellow band is where the heaviest rain came down. So let's zoom in a little bit here, and I'm going to highlight some actual amounts here. And downtown, maybe 2.9. Near Midway, close to 3 inches. Going towards Orland, Lockport, Joliet, Shanahan, and even into Grundy County, this is an axis of 2.5 to 3 inches of rainfall, and it fell in a very short period of time. That's why the water came up. The roads were a disaster. Now, we still have a little bit of rain out there right now. Let me actually show you a couple of these scattered showers that are moving in out to the west of us. And let me put this on here. We want that. National U.S. radar. We'll zoom out. And coming out of Iowa, there's a little bit of rainfall. Not sure why that is not showing up for me. That is kind of a strange thing. Here we go. Right in there. That is a little light rain that could sneak in here later this morning. Nothing as heavy as what we just went through. All that heavy stuff is off to the east. But don't be surprised if at some point here this morning you encounter a little bit of light rain. Wind is the main story for the day, though. Our high already happened. That was a record of 60 degrees. A brief morning shower, then we'll be mostly to partly sunny later this afternoon. 5.5 minutes until 5 a.m. We'll be right back with more of Good Day.
Saving money on
Welcome back. New data shows more people signed up for unemployment benefits. In the week ending January 3rd, about 208,000 people signed up for those benefits. That is below what economists were predicting. The number of those remaining on benefits continuing claims also rose in the week ending December 20th to 1.91 million. Changes at the post office could have a big impact on your tax return or your mail-in ballot. The Postal Service says it has stopped marking mail with the date that you're dropping it off, but will instead use it when it arrives at a processing facility. The agency says it is cutting costs and emissions by reducing trips. What this could mean, though, is carriers receive mail at some mailboxes the next day rather than the evening it was sent. General Motors takes a hit worth billions of dollars after pulling back on its electric vehicle program. The loss is combined with a $1.6 billion charge disclosed in October. That announcement is a reverse on GM's plans to ramp up EV production in accordance with regulations set by former President Joe Biden. They have since been overturned by President Trump. Well, some drivers could see a new tax break over the next few years. Drivers who buy a new U.S.-made vehicle between now and 2028 can deduct up to $10,000 a year in car loan interest. That deduction is above the line, so no itemizing is required, but it phases out for higher earners. The IRS is expected to release a full list of qualifying models later this month. And if you're thinking about buying a home this year, you might want to do it right now. Recent research by financial company LendingTree found January has the lowest price per square foot. It's about 8% cheaper than if you choose to buy in May. This could possibly save home buyers around $23,000 on a typical 1,500 square foot home.
Live from Michigan Avenue, this is Good Day Chicago.
Right now on Good Day, an investigation is underway after 2 people were shot during an incident in Oregon involving Border Patrol agents.
The family of a missing Chicago public schools teacher provides new information in regards to her disappearance.
And plenty of streets around the Chicago area were flooded from yesterday's storm. This is video of the Dan Ryan from last night.
We've been seeing that a lot lately, right? Good Friday morning, team. Thanks for joining us here on 5 a.m. on Good Day Chicago. I'm Brian Jackson.
And I'm Gabriela Primus. Yes, thanks for joining us. Finally, the last day of the work week. Can you believe it? And an Orange Friday, so it's extra special, guys. We've been counting down to this. Mike, yeah, that storm last